Joining us now here on CNBC TV 18 is Mr. Nand Kishore, member of the newly constituted IL&FS board, formerly with the Controller and Auditor General of India. Mr. Kishore, appreciate you joining us here on CNBC TV 18. My first question to you, sir, now that the NCLT has given the order to supersede the board and a new board will be put in place, a board of which you are a member, what is the mandate? What are the next steps that have been communicated to you?
In fact, I have heard the reconstitution of the board only from the news channels. Let me be honest, I haven't applied myself to the problems of IL&FS, but definitely the mandate would be to diagnose the problems, whether there are any nasty surprises in the balance sheet or in the accounts, and to look at their systems and structures and then think of what solutions actually could be thought of. So, but at this point of time, these are very general kind of approaches, and what specific steps would require to be taken. That only after the board meets and we do some analysis, only after that it can be stated.
I appreciate that fact, sir, that, obviously the information that you have is limited at this point in time. But if I could understand from you, Mr. Kishore, when was it that the government reached out to you seeking your approval or your consent for this position?
I think it's not very important for this interview.
Okay, all right. When is it that we can expect the board to meet, sir? We are given to understand that that will happen shortly. Have you been communicated a specific date when the first meeting of the board will take place?
Not yet. I have also read it only in the media also. From 8th October, that's as reported in the media, I have absolutely no idea.
Okay, Mr. Nand Kishore, since you heard about your appointment, have you got in touch with the board members, the other board members?
No, not yet.
Okay. Well, we were told, of course, by the NCLT verdict that this is under Article 241 of the Companies Act, that the current board has been superseded on grounds that it is not serving the public interest. Now, would you also want to go to the NCLT and request time under Article 230 so that other creditors don't come rushing in and try to grab assets?
This thing I'll have to explore. It will be premature on my part at this point of time.
Okay, but you would have from the public, the knowledge available in the public domain, know some of the details of the IL&FS case. I mean, that it is a 91,000 crore exposure to various creditors ranging from pensioners all the way to sophisticated foreign creditors, institutions, bondholders and, intercorporate deposits, bank lending. So, in your estimate, do you think this can be done without a protection under 230?
I don't know the implication of 230 and this 91,000 crore. What is the breakup? Because any company will have lots of borrowings. Some long term, some very short term. There are some immediate liabilities and all that. What actually is the composition and the nature of different components of 91,000? That will have to be studied. It is too early for me to to make any comment.
Okay, haven't you all even got in touch with the shareholders? I mean, are they at least willing to put in some money? Has anyone indicated that with such an honorable board in place, government-backed board, anybody willing to put in money?
I'm not aware as of now.
Okay, Shireen?
Right. Mr. Kishore, I know that you are awaiting formal details from the government, sir, but what would you think will be the next steps? And I'll also ask you, sir, because, the comparison that's being made, though it's not a strictly apples-to-apples comparison, is with Satyam, because that was the last time where you had a government takeover, so to speak. So what, to your mind, will be the next steps that will be crucial in order to put a revival roadmap together?
Again, I must say it is a bit early for me to say anything on that. Yeah.
But in your assessment, sir, and again, I go back to the point that you've obviously, you've given your consent to join the new IL&FS board. So obviously, you've spent some time going over whatever is public information. Do you believe that a resolution is going to be, not a question of a few weeks, but it is going to take time, whether that's few months, 6 months, we don't know. But do you believe that a resolution is going to be a long, arduous road?
Yeah, I suppose so.
What do you see as being the biggest challenges on this road to revival?
Challenges at this stage will be to, first look at the financial position of the company. It's what are the kind of assets it owns, what are the kind of liabilities, and then see how those liabilities can be taken care of. How the management of these assets.
Mr. Kishore,
yeah.
Just one follow-up question, sir. Have you been given any indication by the government, obviously before you signed up for this position, on the various probes that are underway? We understand that the Serious Fraud Investigation Office, the SFIO, is probing this matter. In court today, the government talked about mismanagement, talked about misgovernance. Has there been any indication given to you on whether these are commercial decisions that have gone bad, or there is some malafide as well?
No indication to me about it.
No, but as an auditor, what's your sense? Is this a malafide case, or is it, liability mismatches and infrastructure projects simply going off target in terms of time?
It's quite, quite premature for me to comment on that. And, talking about malafide, that will be a very strong observation for anyone without going into the details of the issue.
But you must have seen many an infrastructure project, Mr. Kishore, in your stint in the CAG. And is there a pattern? All of them, are they suffering from institutional inadequacies in terms of permissions, in terms of the length of financing? Our system itself allows only 8 to 10 years at best. Is there a problem in these kinds at a conceptual level and at the milieu level, and not necessarily intent of the financiers?
What you are probing at this stage, the issues which require a lot of application of mind and deliberation.
Okay, so you expect
this stage will be difficult for me to comment.
So in that case, you expect this to be what, a 2-year issue? Can it be resolved earlier, given the number of creditors?
See, these are very specific issues. What is the extent of liabilities? What kind of liabilities? What are the revenue stream? And so, how long will it take to put the better to improve the structures? And so, to put any timeline at this stage, at least for me, I have no idea. Let me be honest.
Okay. All right, Mr. Nand Kishore, we leave it at that. Thank you very much for sparing time for us.